And the two suspects wanted in connection with the tragic deaths of James and Michelle Butler were scheduled to be in court tomorrow. That date now delayed because of the coronavirus. Many of us remember the tragic death of the Butlers, a New Hampshire couple whose bodies were found on Padre Island back in October. The next month, Adam Williams and Amanda Nover were arrested, charged with tampering with evidence and felony theft after they were found with the Butler's truck and trailer in Mexico. Officials with the district attorney's office say jury trials will be postponed for some time while courthouses continue to social distance and refrain from having large groups of people together in a small area. And as of now, there is not an exact date of when the trial will be rescheduled. So far, neither Williams or Nover have been charged with murder.